Project is a media organization dedicated to celebrating the lives and stories of contemporary LGBTQ heroes. A person who is associated with this project, he's also a producer. His name is Derek Strasdis.
Okay.
And he's a local family from SS Lobster.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a part of this project. One of his roles is a producer on the project, and he contacted me and he said, you need to meet this guy. You need to meet Will. It's just this is meant to be. And so it was just kind of one of those things. It was meant to be. But when I met Will, I realized that he was an artist, and I realized that he understood this process, and he himself has worked in this area of film and video. So he really knows he knows what's going on. So immediately I knew it was going to be a good match. That it was okay, and we're also, Kevin and I are very concerned with the Gay Hero Project having a community outreach initiative.
Okay.
That the idea that it's insular right now because of my artistry and because the people that I'm doing I've known for a very long time, so they automatically let me in. So
Right.
I'm in and there's just cameras swimming around, but I get the facet of their personality. And I worried about that, and working with Will, we became friends instantly, and before I knew it, it was just us hanging out, and the cameras are running, and we're having a good time, and so we're about this community, and how far-reaching it is.
It's also just the idea that, Fitchburg on a Massachusetts level has, a particular reputation, but you find that it's a really shallow one. It's totally surface level and oftentimes not based on any reality. And you have people like Will and Lavender who are not just doing great things, but they're also ambassadors for their city. So they're ambassadors for their city all the way to New York.
Yeah.
That tribe represented your city when they went that day. We saw that from behind the scenes of being the storytellers behind what was going on that day. And we saw immediately that they were the ambassadors of Fitchburg that day. And actually Will specifically references that on the microphone in Times Square, which was really cool.
The name Fitchburg reverberated off of the walls of Times Square
That's
that day.
right.
It did. About Will and the tribe's journey. I mean, not only is there a story in just what it is and in just who they are and how they've come together, and the story of a bunch of people having a common dream and working against all odds in order to come together and achieve a common goal. I mean, that's a beautiful idea in and of itself. But their story has its own built-in narrative from beginning to end. I mean, it was kind of nice for us because it was the first time we had a set narrative to hang the story upon. So we had the lead up to the performance in Times Square, the performance in Times Square, and now a reflection.
Right. That's
so.
perfect.
Yeah. So this, according to our format, is more along the lines of one of our GHP Presents, which is, as you know, a showcase of short documentaries, and they're generally between 2 and 20 minutes long.
When you sang RESPECT, I literally was in the background as the executive producer watching and seeing what was happening, and I literally watched crowds and crowds and crowds of people, Lavender, lift up their cell phones and start recording you. So for me, as a producer, I thought, wow, star power, there's a trump card for like the Gay Hero Project. She is so involved now. She is, and not just because of that, but she's absolutely a kind and generous and a wonderful additional character to our story.
Thank you.
No words do justice because my biggest dream has always been being on TV singing, and I don't know, I felt like I was born to be a performer. And I've had daydreams of it, and when all these things were happening, it's like deja vu of the things that were going on in my head, and I just can't describe it. like is this really happening? And it was like something. It was one of those like moments where it was like, wait, this is not a dream. This is happening. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, something that always played in my head. Now it is out, and now I feel like the reality of my imagination has unleashed.
Watch the arc of their responses through the different things that we were trying to do. You know, it's evident enough that Lavender's blind, and so when people see that, they're automatically drawing conclusions about
That's
what
why I
must
want to be a
Rick.
singer, because I want to change people's impressions of me.
Exactly. And so it gives them that opportunity, but they come up with a preconceived idea, and then all of a sudden their preconceived idea is blown out of the water, and we're watching people actually transform in front of us. It's transforming us in the process. Well, I mean, Derek had been telling me for a while that he'd been part of this project and that we might be a good fit for it. So, I mean, I had my fingers crossed for a while. What I didn't realize was that that Lance doesn't usually take subjects that he doesn't know personally. And so Derek had to really go to bat for us to make him jump over that hoop. So I think I kind of known that it always might be a little bit of a possibility, and I had my fingers crossed, but I think it was more about realizing that we're not typically, we normally wouldn't have happened. You know, if it hadn't been for, you know, another one of our Fitchburg's own, you know, going to bat for us. Through their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, because you never really know. Fitchburg is just sort of like an incubation space for us. You know, we're secure here in our own little pond, but you know, going to New York and doing a concert and having that whole experience be seen through the eyes of somebody who intends on illustrating heroes, that's a very humbling experience. It's beautiful to see yourself through that mechanism.
It was brilliant.
We're really proud to tell this story.
Yeah.
It's very important for us to do it because it's not just talking about our personal heroes, but it's talking about a hero and heroes that can act as a hero not just for us but for an entire city. And you know, we think that's incredibly important.